Wanted to tell you a little bit about my journey with archetypal energies and how it happened for me. About 18 years ago, I started working um, on myself in a very particular way at a very particular time. I was extremely burned out from parenting and from a marriage that had been pretty tough. I was post-divorce. I was embarking on shifting my energy. I renamed myself at that time. I had been Kathy for a long time. I've never been a Kathy, but I had gotten that name in grade school and it stuck with me. I was Catherine to my family, Kathy to my friends, and I shortened it to Cat and felt like my energy could take a new shape. The energy of my life could be reclaimed. I worked with a lot of archetypal energy at the time. I was doing a lot of work. I was studying with Debbie Ford. I was doing shadow work and depth work. I was deep in process. I was extremely informed by psychospiritual work, Jungian work, and I was working with my lineage, my ancestral lineage, my own personal life energy. And I went into this year that I called the year of silence, where I really had to almost peel all the layers of who I was away. And I talked to the moon. I worked with the earth. I painted a lot. I did a lot of collage. I worked with parts of self. I stripped down in order to find my essence and rediscover who I was. It was really the ultimate journey. It was the center of the center. It was a new way to weave the web, to reweave all of everything that had fallen away, everything that I was letting go of. And it was here that I actually started to learn and grow the work that I now present to the world. I met some energies that were very unfamiliar to me. I met rage. I met grief. I met exuberance, which was a missing element in my life. I started to travel the paths of the imaginal, work with mystery, work in more of the shamanic dreaming traditions. I had teachers that were leading me in traditions that they had been taught in. I was starting to expand my world from the inside out. And I found that this was the most potent place to be alive in my life. It was the most real place to be alive in my life. So I began to understand that the energies of the archetypes were ever present. They were in almost every elemental energy. I could feel spirit in the blade of grass. I could meet a stone and start to find its origin story. I could listen for energies that were living inspirited in everything. And this was a concept that is called panpsychism. It's the animation of the world. It's the spirit of every living thing. And this began to inform me in ways that I hadn't really understood living energy. But this too is what started to work. It's deeper layers of knowing when I went into the numinous space, when I embarked in the feminine mysteries, when I met a goddess or a guide, when I started to understand that mythic living was animated and always present, ever present. And then when I met myself, parts of self, like the good mother, the fierce mother, that had been so predominant for so many years in my life, I started to understand that there were other energies indwelling, that was just a facet of what I was working with, with really what was possible for me. So this idea of mythic living and embarking on mythic journey, which is the mythos journey concept that I've developed in my work, that as we embark in the mythic journey, we are activating our own living myth, that it's happening all the time. And the challengers and the guides and the allies can come in many forms and meet us, often through image, often through working with our fingers in materials, when tearing, when ripping, when clutching or creating and working with sculpture or clay or fabric or paper, and starting to reshape our stories underneath our fingers through our body. This becomes mythic living. It becomes an animated moment of awareness rising inside, because we're constantly getting feedback. So when archetypes come, when imagery comes, when energy comes, when we recognize that we're in an archetypal landscape, when there's a presence nearby, when it's taking shape through an animal form, when it's arriving in our life and we open the door to a presencing energy, when we step into a space and feel the nervousness of moving into a circle of women, but then we feel met, we meet ourselves, and we rise into a moment holding an energy that's now traveling with us, undeniably true. This is archetypal energy at work. And it is the most potent way to start to feel completely companioned and met in your journey work, in your day-to-day life. I've done 3 really powerful courses, and the third is with us right now, and they're not intended to be experienced in any order. They are really opportunities to travel with a circle of women and start to work your stories and meet these moments of living awareness that is undeniably true and cannot be unlearned once they're found, once they're gathered, once they're developed. And so the creative process that I'm inviting you to in Ignite is exactly what I've been practicing for all these years. It's the energy of starting to develop your own living language and expand what it is to live truly, authentically in your own life. So Ignite, evoking the archetypes of midlife, is about living in the middle of your life, in the middle of this moment right now. That is the center of the center, and that's where everything grows. That's what we seed in this work. That's what creative depth is planting the seed deep to grow your life, to expand your life, to feel everything, to see more of what is possible. That's what was missing when I went into that silent year. I didn't know what else to do but strip away and sort of go down to the ground, go into the earth. But now that spring has sprung in this beautiful moment, we're, invited to rise up, and that's a work of Ignite, fostering that fire deep in the earth and cracking open the seed and rising up into life. So if you resonate with anything that I shared, or you're interested in learning more about how to do this work for yourself, join me in Ignite and see what your own journey work can bring. I promise you, it's life-changing and it never ends. It is the ever-present story and the never-ending journey. And that's the most exciting thing I've ever discovered and developed. It's the most life-affirming, exciting work in the world. So join me and ignite your own life.